So there's another paper, actually amongst three papers that you had informed me about, that you wanted me to take a look at one. It's titled Hilbert Space, Poincaré Dodecahedron, and Golden Mean Transfiniteness. And in the abstract, you say, a rather direct connection between Hilbert space and E-infinity theory is established via an irrational transfinite golden mean topological probability. Subsequently, the ramifications for Kleinian modular spaces and the cosmological Poincaré dodecahedron proposals are considered. And then in the introduction, you state, it is recounted that the great Polish mathematician Stephen Banach was fond of remarking that good mathematicians see analogies between theorems and proofs. The very best ones see analogies between analogies. The present work is written in the spirit of the above quotation with the hope that the uncovered connections between Hilbert space, Cantorian E-infinity space-time, moduli space, dodecahedron, and spin network will help towards a better understanding of high-energy particle physics.
Yes. At the time, of course, I felt more confident, and I was not attacked by by people whose business is to attack. So I was really, I was editor-in-chief of a very famous journal, and I was running it as I think a journal should be run.
Chaos, solitons, and fractals.
Yeah, and was produced by one of the best, commercial publisher. At that time, commercial publisher were fighting for existence. Now they are the new establishment, But before that, it was only learned society who produced journals, and before that, even, as you know, for instance, a famous professor like Kaluza, Theodore Kaluza, the father, was not able or was inappropriate to publish a paper simply by sending it to a journal. You have to send it first to a famous scientist who communicates it when he approves of it to a journal. The famous, very famous paper of Kaluza, Theodore Kaluza's father, was the father of my teacher, Theodore Kaluza's the son, same name, who taught me about the work of his father, and he taught me mathematics in Hanover, Germany. He sent his paper, his famous paper, to Einstein. And it was not 1 week till you get a result accepted or not accepted like today, and if it's 2 weeks, it's too long. No, the man had to wait for 3 years. Albert Einstein was reading it all the time and finding always something wrong with it. Einstein fused, following the suggestion of his teacher, Minkowski. He fused time to the 3 special dimension and had space-time. It was the idea of his teacher first, and then he excelled in presenting his theory in this new language, not as saying there is no simultaneous event, but as a 4-dimensional space-time. But to have 5 dimensions now, like Kaluza proposed, correctly I must say now, at that time Oscar Klein was not yet in. Oscar Klein came later and added something, that's why you would say it's Kaluza Klein.
I see.
not Felix Klein, the mathematician. Oscar Klein is a Jewish, Swedish, distinguished scientist who was working for the Nobel Committee also as a referee. So Kaluza, the father, always found something wrong with whatever. Einstein always found something wrong with Kaluza's father paper and write to him. Then Kaluza's father will answer him back. And then he'll find something else. And after 3 years, he told him, more or less, I can't find anything wrong with your paper. I publish it. I recommend it for publication. So when I wrote that, I was dreaming of, once you say something right, everything will be clear. And we are victim of too many jargons, too many different way of expressing the same thing. So you call it this, you call it that. But at a very fundamental level, the difference between space-time and Hilbert space and so many other concepts really is blurred, if not vanished, and they are all the same thing. At that time, I didn't realize there is a golden mean numbering system, actually highly developed. I didn't know that. But those were the idea floating in front of my eyes while I'm closing them. And I cannot ever forget that the idea for isospin symmetry, which was introduced, symmetry group, which was introduced by Werner Heisenberg to physics for the first time, was really due to the fact his father was a professor of Greek and classical language and Latin, professor in Munich. And the son got this book, Timaeus, written by Plato, and you spoke about that in more details, and you know about it more than me. But that is how a physicist starts getting on the right path, was through a poet called Timaeus, recounted by a philosopher called Plato, in Arabic, Aflatun. So Aflatun is very important in our common language, really. In Arabic, when somebody is too sophisticated, we say he's Aflatun. And if he love, spiritual love, devoid of any flesh desire, then it's Aflatonian, Aflatonian love, Hubb Aflatuni in Arabic. And all this idea came from the book of Timaeus. And when I see this Platonic body and the Platonic structure and how the golden mean is the basis of the Platonic structure, I think I already sensed, and I wrote with a lot of courage about this thing, not knowing or anticipating the attack will be launched at me later to devour me from the freedom of thinking as I think. And I really have till now no understanding for people. I can understand people disliking that you take their money or you take their property or you take whatever, something from them. But to have an enemy only because you think differently and you are ready to be persuaded that your thinking is not right is very strange.
Yeah.
I think it's a malady of the soul. So this is really the essence of this paper. And the amazing thing, you think that you are learning more, you are improving, and you know more. actually, as I moved from this paper, I was learning less. I was doing something. This is the point where I should have gone. I would have saved 10 years of my life searching for nothing. But then you are distracted by this vicious attack for nothing else but it's not the place or the time to talk about
I
it.
understand.